Vatnik says, which preflop all-in chip V needed on good play? So it just depends what your question is. Which preflop all-in chip V? So if the question is, what would be a good preflop all-in chip V? You want to have something positive, of course. Typically, it will depend a little bit on your style. So, as always, the answer to a lot of the questions I have is, it depends. But if you are only looking at your pre-flop chip EV, and it's below 0, that's a start away. That's a problem. But I'd say if you're like below, probably as you go higher stakes, your pre-flop chip EV will drop a bit, because if you're playing $1 games, people will just get in any 2 cards at any point sometimes, and less frequently as you move up higher stakes. Will people be prepared to gamble as wildly, let's say. So yeah, at the hundreds or something, probably around 25, at 250s plus, about 20 maybe. We're back. Been a while. Warming up at some hundreds. We'll have a look and see how they go. Shout out to everybody watching on the replay. I guess will be the majority of viewers. Hello, hello. If you're on the Vimeo on 641, or if you're watching it as a subscriber, we appreciate you either way. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. We got a game against 2 randoms, which is always pretty good. 2 Germans, in fact. Viel Glück zu unserer Freundin hier. Let's start with a check, ladies and gentlemen. Now we got Auge 63 mit dem Potten. Und wir sagen, vielen Dank, Freund, aber nicht für mich. Probably recreational. If it's unknown and potting a flop, like, could be some high level stuff, but like more likely to be unknown. I'm going to go for a min raise, to be honest. I think he's going to be pretty indifferent with his range, and I expect a lot of jams, and plans to fold here against 2 randoms. So that's why I went for a min raise, not a bigger sizing, because I don't think it's going to affect his range at all. But I think we save a chip or 2. We're going to go for a min and call off. 2 overs, not the best flop. Start with a check. We're going to try and get Twitch working on this one. Let's see the sizing if he does choose to probe, and if so, how big. Very nice of you. Thank you once again. Jonas, one of the 2019 HM there, one of the original founding member of the Twitch, and been a big supporter all over these years. Thank you, thank you. I did contemplate putting Scoop in the title as a bit of clickbait, just being like, Scoop guys, and then when people turn up, I'd be like, yeah, it's the Spin and Go Championship of online poker, obviously. But who knows? On the Mac, welcome, welcome. He says it sounds good. Sounds good, guys. So that's a good sign. It's very, we're not balanced at all, but we don't mind about not being balanced here. 3-handed poker. 3-handed poker, ladies and gentlemen. Go and YouTube that, and you'll get some love. If you're a fan of Spin and Go, I mean, if you're not a fan of poker or Spin and Goes, probably not worth your time. But if you're a fan of Spin and Goes and poker action, I would say go for it. Our friend here is sitting out, looks like. Okay, that's generally fairly plus EV. Let's start with a limp here. We get a snap check back. Looks pretty capped to me. Actually going to go for a check, though, because I don't want him to, like, check jam a 3. He's been very, let's say, shove happy. I'd make sure I'm not realize equity. Now, he may have, like, for example, a 9-3. Now, that'd be fantastic. He checks here. I expect him to mainly be betting a lot fan, but, like, he has a lot of offsuit 8x, offsuit 7x, maybe some offsuit 5x something. We'll just go for a min and see if we can get called by any of the gut shots. They fold. Sad times. Balls Grab says he hates poker unless he's watching Vivi Saliba. Some things we cannot compete with on Twitch, I'm afraid. There's certain attributes that I'm unable to. I don't know what's the word. What are we going to do here, by the way? Because a weird spot. If we call and he shoves, we don't have photo. This guy can't rejam, and that sort of sucks. So maybe we click here. I don't want to jam. I'm going to try a click. I think that's probably ever so slightly. Why have I clicked? I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, we got an extra 0.87 big blinds in. I don't know if that was. Maybe that was wasteful. I don't know. Maybe we just jam. As played, let's just min bet and see if he wants to make a mistake with something. He doesn't. What a sweaty flop. Whew, we held. Bit of a weird spot, but happy days. We got it. 4.56. I'm going to try a limp. We get a snap check back. Looks pretty capped. Again, 2 overs to the 5 or 4x, but I guess he's just going to donk into them, which means that actually we can probably bet some more spots against him. And so I'm back in the old hard, which is fine. But, oh, that's a nice result, by the way. The new HUD, unfortunately, hides the button, which meant I was making a lot of mistakes three-handed, but all good. Hey, 1 win out of 1. Let's keep the run going, huh? We're going to defend 6-7 off. And we're going to... Ever donking. Not a bad... I think we'd probably donk on a 7-eye board, not an 8-eye board. So 7-5-4 rather than 5-7-8. But we definitely could, and we definitely... Problem with this hand is, like, it kind of functions well as a check raise or a check call. But it's sort of in between, which means it's also fine to donk, I think, because I don't feel particularly strong either way. I guess we'll just start with check call. Definitely donk in this turn, though. So, just going to go small here and small bet the river. Don't expect him to raise too often with a 9x, mainly flatting. But also, don't expect him ever to bet worse. He does raise. Huh. I guess it is a 9x. I guess we just call and then house up is the plan, and then we win the lot, right? So that's the main goal. I don't think we're good right now, but very, very occasionally we could have the best hand. He could, I don't know, sometimes do something random with like 10s. But I think we have a very nice, let's say, 3.95 to win, 19 plus, almost guaranteed the 15 behind, when he's got 9-10 here, for example, or a 9. So I think we're very happy calling that. Even though it's not tons of outs, it's still, you know, we're going to win this 35 big blind pot enough of the time. And, you know, maybe 1 in 15 times he gives up. But fair enough. Didn't work out that time. But I think against his range, it's definitely a good idea. We'll jam the king-queen. On the Max says, move to New Zealand next week from Australia. Good luck, mate. Hope that all goes well. We had my old stable boss did the same sort of move. He moved from the Gold Coast to Wellington or something. And he really liked New Zealand. And New Zealand, I think, is a better place for poker in general. You get some nice online poker in New Zealand. I think better than Australia as far as I'm aware. But I wish you good luck with it. Should be hopefully quite a fun thing to do. We get a chips in coolering our opponent. That's always nice. Powodzenia. Collego to Mr. Rono Legley. He plays a lot of 250s, or has been playing a lot of 250s in the past as well. I don't know if he's playing them right now, but, I mean, not right now, I guess. We'll start with a call. So backdoor flush draw on 2 overs. Not a bad backdoor flush draw as well. I think we can start with a call. Kind of close. I'd like to have a backdoor straight draw. I'd probably prefer calling Queen 7 than Queen 8. So maybe this is even just a fold or a check raise even. I mean, that's the other option. We could have just check raised, of course, as well. But considering we do call, I think this is a pretty nice run out, especially with the check on the turn. Just going to go for a smallish bet. Again, our goal here is just to make, if you like, a hand like King High fold or Ace High. King 5 with the 5, we're not really trying to make pair folds. We're trying to make, you know, King 10 fold, for example. And so I think our hand is fine to use that, to choose that. Try to use a sizing that I think would be, let's say, quite the broad sizing of a lot of our hands. But he, of course, he has a pair, so we're not really too worried about that. We'll call King 10. We get snap jammed on this flop, which is interesting. From a non-all-in sizing at this stack depth, you'd typically expect fewer ace highs. But I guess, I think if we had spades or a club here, we'd probably end up calling. But I think with the King 10 without either, we'll just end up folding. We'll jam the Queen 4. Well, that says Powodzenia. Dziękuję. Your Powodzenia came at the right time. But then the bad one. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Our friends, I've not been paying attention. Our friends have been kind of going at it. He limped King 5, bet the flop, bet the turn. Check call the river, 9-6 off. Fair. So that seems fairly standard from Hondo. Maybe a little bit of a wide call on the turn from KK Way. but we can't say too much about it. We've also, of course, have a, yeah. It's a sample of one, obviously, so I don't know. Best Reg says, biggest win MTTs. My biggest win was 22k. Good. Ooh, 9 years ago. I won a Sunday warm-up on .fr. Those were the days. A young, naive Tomo taking it down. And then not really played many MTT since. I've, played one MTT this year. Final tabled it, of course. No problem, mate. It was a invitational WPT or something, but yeah. We're going to ISO jam. King 5 off. He's been limping a decent V-pip here. So, play lots of hands and take advantage of that. We'll take the folds. I think we'll just fold 7-3 suited, 5 big blinds effective. It's pretty close. Okay, we're calling off Queen 9. He limps again. I guess we'll just jam. Hey, limp King 8. The old limp call King 8 for 4 bigs. There's any fold equity tool. We're just super happy about it. So we're going to jam pocket 8s. I think with a 3 and the 10, like, whatever. Course of Crap says, Tom needs to get his priorities right. Such a limited range of throwable stuff. That is very true. Well, I mean, we got a football. We're going to give him the... Oh, no. I'm actually moving my HUD right now. There you go, Best Reg. Give him the little football. I've not done many of the challenges, huh? Too busy playing spins when I should be really looking to win some of these. Neffy says, the biggest win in spin poker... in one spin, I'm assuming you mean, I won 10k a couple of months ago in a spin. And 100x at the hundreds. And the biggest spin I've had was 25x at the 500s, which was 12.5k. Which I did not win. And the biggest multiplier was actually a 200x at the 30s way back when. So that was 6k, which... I won one of those. I'm just going to fold this. We don't know too much about KKWay. I mean, he played the one hand a little bit stickily, but like he's played pretty solid throughout, I think. I don't think he's been too... I mean, he's been limping, let's say, quite a few hands in a few spots. But nothing too disastrous. We're going to check back with the Jack 5. And now we just have a pretty easy cool. Yeah, even on this 2 hearts, fairly easy call versus anything... I was going to say anything smaller than 3/4. This is about the limit. I'm a little bit sad because, of course, you can have... we're now kind of only bluff catching. But at the same time, I mean, you definitely could bet Jack 7 here, for example, and we chop with that. So, yeah, that times. Happy days for Mr. KKWay. Let's try flash. Heads up. Here we go. See what we can do. Start with a check. The old pattern start with a check. We're going to check. And, I mean, yeah. And Machasita is now following. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Let's exchange to pirate table theme. Do we have that theme? What do you want? Saloon. This is why I can offer this. But I can't offer too much more. I'm actually going to fold here. I think I'd rather call. I don't like that. Really good turn. I guess we just check again and see if we can win against the Queen Jack, Queen 10, something like that. Could happen. King 4, maybe as well. Hey, we won against Jack 8. Okay, take it. We'll start with check. Turn and flush draw, very nice. Okay, comes out with a 1.5. Can't tell too much from this sizing. But I think we'll just start with a call. Hard to range him, so we can't eliminate too much value or bluffs, I think, with the 1.5. If you went min, you could do something different. Goes in now for a pretty quick continue of 66%. I think we just have a pretty easy jam. Hey. Vatnik says, which preflop all-in chip V needed on good play? So it just depends what your question is. When which pre-flop all-in chip EV? So if the question is what would be a good pre-flop all-in chip EV, you want to have something positive, of course. Typically, it will depend a little bit on your style. So, as always, the answer to a lot of the questions I have is it depends. But if you're only looking at your pre-flop chip EV, and it's below 0, that's a start away. That's a problem. We have a nice, probably range turn. So you bet delay. Go 1.5. He's drawn dead against the aces, for example, that we would check the flop, or the kings with a heart we would have checked. So we don't have to go too big. And more limp shove ace 8. But I'd say if you're like below, probably as you go higher stakes, your pre-flop chip EV will drop a bit, because if you're playing $1 games, people will just get in any 2 cards at any point sometimes, and less frequently as you move up higher stakes will be people be prepared to gamble as wildly, let's say. So yeah, at the hundreds or something, probably around 25, at 250s plus about 20 maybe. Interesting, he uses different sizes. Do you ever remember when he had trips and he went 1.5 and now goes 1.3? Let's see. It'd be lovely if we get a showdown, we can see what this is. But what we can probably eliminate is maybe some 2 pair or something from his range. He may have a bit more of a capped range, maybe bets a 6 or a 7. Let's have a look and see if that's how we want to weight him. Queen 5, okay. We're just going to jam ace 10, I think. Up against king queen. Happy days, we'll take it. Looking for an ace. Wasn't to be. We'll check back a10. Flop flush draw, okay, we'll check. Here we get c bet into. With this, I'm pretty okay to check call, because I think we can happily continue on an 8 or a 10, and obviously a 7, a 9 are all great for us. It runs out brick. Only question is, does he fold queen high if we were to bet here? And I'm not so sure about betting. I'm just going to check. Could check raise this hand, but it'd be a bit tough. He didn't seem very interested in, let's say, bet folding with a 7-6, so I don't think it actually makes too much sense to check fold it. I'm just going to fold. Shout out to Cold as Ice Baby, yes, who says, or can confirm, Tofu is his wife. And then says, did you poke her, Tommy, you bad man? Are we talking about Tofu? You're talking about yourself in first person, then switching to third person. A very interesting style there. Did I poke Tofu's wife? No. Tofu's wife remains pokeless from me.